So it's been a while since my last video, and this is because I've been busy doing other stuff. But at the same time, I've also been taking a look at what my favorite desktop environment is, or perhaps which one is best to stick with. I'll be making a video about the desktop environments and comparing each one and all that type of stuff in the future, but for now, I decided I wanted to make a video showcasing what the Gnome desktop environment can look like, ways you can tweak it, and all that type of stuff. So, taking a look at my desktop right now, looking at the background, cursor, panel, you can see that this looks pretty much like Deepin. The main difference being is that the panel is simply transparent and it doesn't really have the blur effect. And I was able to achieve all of this with the Gnome desktop environment, and it does a pretty good job at it. So if you're taking a look at the Gnome desktop environment and you want to tweak it, there are a couple things you have to do. And I know that the Gnome desktop environment is a resource hog and that most people dislike it because of that, but I decided because my computer can handle it, I might as well see what I can do with it. So what you have to first do is you have to go to software and you have to look for Gnome tweaks. Oddly enough, it's not showing up. Wow. Let's take a look at Gnome tweaks. Alright, so you should get something like this pop up in the Software Center, especially if you're using Ubuntu. You should see it without a problem. But the first thing is you have to install Gnome tweaks, and actually some distros that feature the Gnome desktop environment come with it like out of the box. So once you have that installed, you can access it and then you can change everything a lot easier. So this appearance tab is the main thing that you want to focus on, and I personally have disabled animations because I will admit it is definitely slower with animations, but yeah. So themes, this is basically where you put your icon themes, your cursor, and your application themes. And also you can install shell themes. So if you want to take a look at compatible themes that come with the Gnome, that are available for the Gnome desktop environment, then there's an official site. I'll probably link it in the description or something, but yeah, so that's where you can download them from. And I'll also show you how to install a specific theme. So the style that I decided to go with is Deepin, and so as you can see right here, I made my cursor, my icons, and my application theme look like Deepin apart from the shell. But essentially, in order to install a theme, first you have to get the file, and let's see if I still have any files from themes. Okay, so I don't have any. But once you have it, you're most likely going to have the file installed in downloads, or if it's not in downloads, then wherever you saved it to, and then you right click on it and then you extract it. And then afterwards, once it's extracted and you have the folder here, what you have to do is you have to open up a terminal, and then you do sudo nautilus. And you should get the file manager to open up. Now if it doesn't work, what you have to do is install Nautilus first, if it's not working. So once that happens, okay, you have it open up here. You can open up your folder, your downloads folder containing the theme, and then you go to USR, share, and now if you want to, if say you installed an icon theme, or say you installed a cursor theme, then you should take a look at the icons folder. But if you installed an applications theme, then you should go ahead and type in themes, and then this is where you should paste it. So there are multiple ways to do this. I showed you the first way, which is using Nautilus. Another way is if your system allows you to open your file manager with root privileges, then you can just simply drag it yourself. And then there is a third way, which is using the move command, which is mv and then path of folder, and then oops, what happened? Path of theme. So you take a look at the path of the theme. So it's in home and downloads, and then whatever the theme name is, and then you add a space and you do the location in which you want to move it to. But the first two methods are I mean, just as simple. I mean, if you're not used to the you know, the folder, whatever it's called, like the folder naming or whatever, like in Linux, if you're just not used to that, then you can just go ahead and go with steps 1 and 2. Now, once you have your icon themes and your cursor theme and everything you may like regarding the applications and all that type of stuff, next you're going to want to go to extensions. Now, I have decided to focus on 4 main extensions, and I believe that they're the main ones that you need. User themes is also important. This is if you want to add custom shell themes, which, by the way, if you want to install shell themes, just look up online, just type Gnome shell themes, and then the first website that appears should be it. But basically the folder for that is you go to home, and then what you have to do is you have to, let's see, show hidden files. There you go. Show hidden files. Alright, I don't know why it's not showing up, so let's open it from here. So yeah, so you go to home, and then you enable show hidden files, and then there should be a .themes folder. If you don't have this folder, then just right click and just create it, and then inside you can put your shell themes, and they should appear here. Also, another thing is if your themes don't appear even after you've moved them successfully, if they don't appear here, and also if your extensions after you've downloaded them don't appear here either, then I just suggest you restart your computer or restart Gnome, and they should appear. So you can install extensions online, but I think that it's more of a hassle. So you can just install them from the software center, which, as you can see here, the extensions are actually shown. So like I said, the 4 main ones I recommend are Arc Menu, Clock Override, Dash to Panel, and Dynamic Panel Transparency. So again, like I said, you can just go to the Software Center and you can find all of them here. And once you've installed it, you can click right here, extension settings, and you should be able to access them without having to use the GNOME tweaks. So let's go one by one with each extension. So here we have the Arc Menu, and this is basically the Arc Menu. One thing I want to quickly mention is, as you can see, it's got a white background and whatnot. This is influenced by your shell theme. So let's say I do the transparent shell theme. Once I click on it, as you can see, I have a transparent menu. Also, this theme allows you, for example, when you right click, it's transparent, or when you go to the settings over here, or your clock, everything is transparent. But I just use this one for now. And also, I'm really hoping that there's no glitches during this video, because on OBS I'm seeing some texture glitches or whatever. So, but yeah, so this is the Arc menu. You can take a look at installed programs, which is very nice. The one thing is that I don't like about like the Gnome menu is, for one, it's full screen, which I'm not a fan of full screen menus, and two, I just feel like you're limited because you don't have the extra options like the paths, the folder paths, or like settings and the terminal, and also your power off buttons. So that's why I really like this menu. I think it's a really good, compact, nice menu. And also, even if you install this menu, you don't have to worry, because you can just click on the super key, which if you're coming from Windows is the Windows button, and you have this, and you can also take a look at your programs. So that's the first one I recommend. Also, clock override. So if I disable this, as you can see, I have the date showing up as well. But let's say you're the type of person who likes things being compact, and you don't want to see this date, and you don't want extra space being taken up, then clock override is a really good extension. Or also, if you don't want the clock at all, there's an extension that hides it as well. So you can go to the settings, and you can edit it to whatever you want. And honestly, if you don't even want a clock, you can write whatever you want here. But this syntax right here, it kind of gives you some like pre-given examples, but you can also take a look at what all these codes mean, what the syntax is, and you can adjust it to whatever way that you want it to. The third one, which being the most important one, is dash to panel. So if I disable this extension, as you can see, the menu is back to normal, how it was. So you have your normal Ubuntu, or not Ubuntu, but Gnome kind of theme, panel on the top, limited, and the menu is, well, this is because I still have the Arc menu enabled. So as you can see, this puts it back to normal. So if we enable these again, it becomes like an actual panel. And there are many settings that you can change. You can change the panel size, you can put it top or bottom, you can put the running indicator position, which are these little blue lines over here, and even then you can adjust them. So right here I have a line. If you don't like the lines, you can remove it. And the background processes that are running have like a little square rectangle, or well, square rectangle. I mean, it has like a little rectangle on the bottom. You can adjust the height, change the color. You know, you have all these options right here. Also, if you don't want the clock location to be here, if you like it in the middle, you also have, I think it's the natural setting, but you have that option as well. Behavior. So when you initially install dash to panel, and when you install the Arc menu as well, what you're going to have is you're going to have the Arc menu, but you're also going to have the original application icon, which for some reason it looks kind of weird right now. But instead of having two menus, you can easily disable the old one and just have the Arc menu. Also, another thing that I really like is you have a desktop button, which just like in Windows 10, It looks just the same and it works the same. I think that this is very nice. There are other desktop environments that have this kind of feature as like a widget. Like for example, XFCE has it, but it looks like an icon showcasing like a square icon, which represents the desktop. But you know, that takes up too much space in my opinion, and this, as you can see, like you can't even notice it. So this is a really good option right here. And then you have some other options which you can take a look at here and you can check out for yourself. This, I wouldn't really mess around too much with these, but essentially what the majority of these do, they handle either the size of the icons or the size of the fonts or the system tray icons. It also handles how far apart all of these are, and one thing that you can do is, let's see if I remember, deconfig editor. There we go. So if you do this and you're right here in the dash to panel, but let's say you're not in dash to panel, you have a search button which you can do. You can type in panel. And then when you type in panel, you have all these settings related to the panel. You can adjust the panel size. And then you have some extra settings that you can mess around with. But essentially, and also you can access the dash to panel settings. And instead of accessing them from the settings menu right here, you can access them from the deconfig editor, which you can go ahead and be more precise with your settings, with your values. So let's say you want -1 or -2, you can do that. Whereas if you go to the dash to panel and you go to the settings here to the fine tune, you don't really have that much of an option. Like you can do the slider, but I doubt it goes by 1 interval. So you can see the way it affects my system tray icons as well as the time. So this is by far, in my opinion, the best extension, but they all go together. And then the last one that I use and recommend is the dynamic panel transparency. If you're a person who likes transparency, then this is the extension for you. So first tab it opens up in transition speed. This is basically because it gives you two options. As you can see, I have a maximized window and my panel looks pretty dark, but if we exit out, it looks lighter. This is because I've set two different opacities for my panel when a window is maximized or when I have unmaximized windows. And so the transition is basically how fast your panel transitions from either being less opaque to more opaque and vice versa. If you want the effects to apply the instant you click on a window, then you can just put this, set this to the lowest setting. But I think that the default works pretty nice. It transitions pretty well. You don't really need to edit this or this. All you need is background. So once you enable custom opacity, you can change how transparent you want your panel to be, whether it's with maximized windows or unmaximized windows. And this is really nice because not only can you set custom values, but on top of that, typically Gnome, when you have a transparent panel and you open up a program that's full screen, that's maximized, it takes on the color of the shell theme. So if you want it to be transparent at all times, this extension really does a good job at it. And also you can enable custom panel color and you can adjust it to be whatever you'd like. So let's say we want blue. There we go, we have blue. But I personally like it at black. So also, I forgot another way that you can install these themes really easily is if you're using Arch, and if you have the PAMAC package manager, you can go to the settings or to the search bar, and you can type in, for example, dash to panel. So if you want extensions, it has extensions. Also, if you want themes, this is where I got my deepin themes from. Deepin theme, let's see. Deepin themes, there we go. It has the Deepin GTK theme, it has the icon theme, and also the icon theme comes with the cursor that I have right now, so you can take a look at, for example, like this theme. You know, I mean, like whatever themes you may like, it has them. Also, it has the Breeze icon themes and whatnot, so. And another thing that you can do is if you want to get some wallpapers, and let's say you don't want to look online, what you can take a look at is various different wallpapers that are offered here. So, you know, a background is always something nice to pair up with your themes and whatnot. And in case you're wondering which distro I'm using, in this video I'm featuring Reborn OS, which I'll be also making a video reviewing it. It's a really good distro. I'll definitely make a video about it sometime soon, and hope you guys check it out. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment. I'll try to help you. If, let's say, there's some error going on, if you can't install a theme or whatever. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.